Oh, dearie me. Even though my brother gave me a microphone, I still haven't fucking changed it over. Because I'm lazy. Yeah, that's all I've got to say on that. I am a lazy toad at the moment. Day 3 of my week off, but there's still plenty to be done. Mostly gardening. Bit of home cleanup. I'm here to you today to talk to you about YouTube comments. As you all know, I've been putting it as my default description for my videos is formal apologies. Sometimes YouTube doesn't tell me about comments. Well, it's started going one further than that. Last week I commented on one of Epic Adam's videos regarding an ER500 he sold for somebody, and the comment was mysteriously removed almost immediately. Now, it didn't violate any of his guidelines, it didn't violate any of mine, so we're a bit bemused as to why it happened. Now, it told him he'd received it, but then it instantly vanished, and it just, no evidence of it whatsoever. So it's very, very curious as to why that's happened. Now, I considered that to be an isolated incident, and then I went on my studio, as I quite often do. It's just it's become quite regular now, a couple of times a day, just to go on the studio and check if there's any comments that it hasn't told me about. And surprisingly, there were more in the unanswered column than usual, but they were all old comments. And I had a quick read of some of them, and as it turns out, they were all comments I'd answered to previously. So all of a sudden, a load of my comments have been deleted, either in response or on people's channels, so it's really strange. I think YouTube may be doing a bit of censoring. Fuck knows why. Those comments have been there for donkey's years. But I was flicking through the filtered comments, as you always do. I found it quite staggering, the amount that were there. That, like, you know, when sometimes I don't reply to the thumbs up things, and some people who put up those I'm a YouTube music creator, let's be friends things, I don't reply to them usually either, I just leave them. So I'm used to seeing them in the list, but there were a load of comments from the likes of Mr. Hooliganisms, the Guide a Rider, who else? God, there was loads. And like, I know I replied to those comments, but then they've suddenly shown up in the "you did not respond to these people" feed, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Because I don't know if they ever saw my response, or if YouTube had deleted it back then, or if it's deleted it recently. Because I got a wave of notifications that were like 6 to 2 years old. Oh shit, what's his channel name? Phil480, I think it is. It'll be in the subtitles. But basically, I commented on a video he put up about Chuck Norris trying to take him off his bike, and that was years ago. And then I got a load of notifications that people had been commenting on it like 6 months ago, 2 years ago, and I was like, what the why are these only coming up now? Like, I look like such a pig ignorant dick on YouTube because I never respond to anything, but in actual fact I respond on the moment. If someone posts a comment on my YouTube videos or replies to one I've done on someone else's, I've always got my phone to hand, and I'm, within reason, fairly fucking punctual with it. Normally within a couple of minutes. But for whatever reason, YouTube has dictated that I'm to look like a knobhead now, so... Fucking irritating, man. So I'll be keeping an eye on it, but what can I do if YouTube deletes my comments, you know? There is very little I can actually do, preventative-wise, or anything. Because I won't know they've been deleted until somebody says, I saw your comment, but now it's gone. Like, do I start copying and pasting it all to a word pad so that if it gets deleted I can post it again? Maybe see if I've breached their terms condition, maybe? Because that's the only thing I can think that would cause my comments to be deleted. Because I asked Epic Adam if I'd been like rushed to his spam folder or anything else, and he said no. My comment was just automatically removed, even for him. Now that's very rare. I mean, for some people, anything that's got a bit of nastiness in it will go to a special folder where they can review it. But it didn't even end up there, and it wasn't a rude comment. It was just, you know, oh my god, I was only just talking about you the other day because I've got an ER500, you're selling one, that's in better nick, sort of thing. That was it. And nothing, gone. It really does take the community side out of it, if you, because I know I can still produce content and I can still put it on there, but you start to think, what the fuck's the point if every time I'm not going to know what people are saying about it? It's very irritating, as you can probably tell. But I'm sure you guys have had similar. I'm sure you guys have found that one minute there's a comment and then it's gone and you think, oh, that was strange, or... I mean, I advise everybody, check your studio regularly, because you never know what YouTube has decided you do or do not need to see these days. It really is starting to take the piss, so just check your studio regularly, guys, because in the comments there are very different to the comments on your channel. And also remember to check between on the comments on an actual video page, there's a little drop down box that says in order or top. Oh, I can't remember it. It'll be screenshotted. But there's always an option to see the top comments or as the order they came in. And there are always a difference. There's always one or two in there that you haven't seen. And I don't know why. Just YouTube being a dick. Nice. I mean, this has only ever been an issue since they put it through Google and they made us add Gmail accounts. Like, I never used to have comment issues prior to Google's takeover of YouTube and the Gmail edition. And I don't get anything through my Gmail anymore, so I don't know why YouTube's acting the way it is. It just is. And it's raining. I said I wouldn't go out unless it was dry, and now it's raining, so more fool me. Still cautiously keeping an eye on the bike, making it my active role to try and run it at least once a week, regardless of need. Ooh. Yeah, even if it doesn't need a run, I'm still going to take it for one and just make a point of burning it for 20-30 minutes just to try and make sure no moisture's getting in there and sitting and then mixing with the oil. Because although I'm now adept at doing jobs on the bike, I don't like doing it. It was not fun for me. Massively stressful. And although I managed it without serious complication, it's still meh. Can I think of any shout outs at the moment? I suppose one would have to go to the Half Dead Rider. He's been having a really shit time these last couple of weeks. Managed to hit the unlucky 3. Fucking hell. Just hang tough, man. Oof. Really did land on your fucking ass on those, but nah. That's life for you. What else was there? As always, the rider guider. Let's see if we can't generate some love for some smaller YouTubers. Oh, I hate saying that. See if we can't generate for. Alright, give me one moment to get my tongue back in my face. Let's generate some love for some YouTubers who deserve it, who deserve more subscribers than they have, but for reasons unknown to science and myself, don't have them. That fair? That fair to say? Sounds fair to say. Fuck it, it's what I'm saying anyway. Yeah, you know, the likes of Salvadorian Boy, Knuckles TV. Fuck, I know I'm going to miss people and it's going to piss people off, but whatever. Patrick Hattrick, he deserves some love. He's building his own bike at the moment. You crazy bastard. Wouldn't catch me fucking dead doing that. Although I did contemplate doing it shortly after I got rid of the GS. I thought, oh, if I just build a bike, I can have a bike I want. But all my nopes, financially speaking, it's a black hole for me, and I just wouldn't be able to recover. Who else? Who else? Fucking hell, come on down. There are a lot of you, and trust me, if you're in my regular comments and subscriptions, then trust me, I wish I could give you more love. There may be a little sliding thing at the end of this if I can remember how to do it in my editor, and your name may be there. Seriously though, guys, if any of you are watching this, of my subscribers, you know, all 10 of you that watch my videos, and you're not already subscribed to these people, give them a go. You know, what's the worst that could happen? You end up liking them, end up spending more of your time when you should be doing other things. Yeah, that's how I ended up. Let's do a little review in retrospect, comparing this 500 twin to the GS 500 twin. Of note worth, very little except the manufacturer being Kawasaki and Suzuki. The only thing I actually liked about the GS is that the spark plugs were external. For a maintenance purpose, they were... oh no, oh, shit, what would I say it was? Not a 45 degree. What would it be? They were on like a 20 degree angle from straight up, and they were on the side of the engine. So in terms of maintenance for the spark plugs and other, with them being on the external of the engine, it was excellent. For winter, not so much, but shit, you can get little protectors for them. That's about it really, because obviously the spark plugs for the ER500 go in through the top, which means you've got to take off the tank, you've got to remove, oh fucking hell god, the air snorkel, the air filter, you've then got to go in and take off the tank. It's a bit of a rigmarole, whereas with the GS, even with a fairing on, they were right there. You could just pop your hand in and undo them. 2020 really has been a shitter for riding. Obviously Wales having their own restrictions, which are very different to England's, it's made just going off a day adventures very difficult. Sort of only go so far in Wales. You're not supposed to exceed 5 miles or something if you're travelling somewhere. Jesus, sorry. Fucking animal. Whee! There would be a truck in front of me for the uphill. Bastard. want to come around one of these bends and find myself in the arse end of this trailer, rigid skip collector, because that would be counterintuitive to my health. Very muchly so. See, I've got to say, the Ninja felt a lot more like a jet fighter through that section, because you are literally having to put the bike through the corners and like go with it for everything, whereas this bike is very much just meh. Lean the bike, but you don't really have to put yourself through it. You just kind of throw it in and go meh, whatever. Zone of respect, it's a lot easier, but at the same time it's almost like flying a spot with camel. It's the difference between a 4-600 and a 2-500. But at the same time, there is something fun about being able to throw this bike around a little bit more without serious consequence or feeling like the shit's about to fly out of me. I know full well why there are speed cameras up here, and it's to do with the fact that a lot of people have been injured or killed on this road because they do treat it like a racetrack, and that's because in a way it feels like one. You do feel like you can get a little bit of a pace on, give it a little bit of a knee down through the corners sort of thing. I mean, I've been up this road at night and it is very different, a very different beast in the dark. Might have to do that again. Sort of breaking in for this bike. We're a very different beast altogether in the dark, especially with the road surface. Like, they've repaired patches, but you can feel the difference between the road and the repair. Like, you sort of hit it, like it's raised up somehow. I'm still not 100% on my turning ability on this bike, not to the same level I was on the Ninja. Like, the Ninja and me were joined at the hip at birth. This bike and me getting there, but not quite yet. I think I'll feel better about it once I have a next set of rubbers on it. Like, there's something about breaking a set of tyres in that gives you the confidence with the bike, isn't there? Like, once you've seen a bike through its tyres breaking in period, you sort of know the bike better. And although I know the bike's, you know, it is a Kawasaki, it can do the same things other Kawasaki's can do, it's probably do the same thing as all other bikes can do. It takes you a hot minute to get to that point. If you've got any brains anyway. I mean, some people push the envelope immediately and then end up outriding their abilities and having serious fucking accidents, which I don't want to do. Is this a stop sign? I didn't see one. Nah, makes sense to stop either way. Prevents me dying.